Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. This is the Piper Academy Network, and this is audio that's working. So I love seeing it, guys. We got a little bit of red here today on the daily, little bit, just slightly. Uh, Coming in this morning, we had decent CPI data, which should have moved the markets up, but we're seeing a lot of resistance today, guys. We're talking about some across the board on the daily. Matter of fact, taking a look at that, you'll see here. This chart right here, and it's all this stuff right here behind me. Everything on here is a warning sign on the daily for Bitcoin right now. We are still at key resistance that we talked about yesterday, so I'm going to be looking at that, looking at the CPI data, breaking that down, why it's bullish, why it's not bullish yet, and trying to break all that down for you. Currently, right now, looking at the overall markets, guys, we are pretty green here on the S&P and the NASDAQ and the Russell. Dow Jones just down slightly. We're going to be breaking this down and a whole lot more, plus some technical analysis coming your way right here on the Morning Market Report. You guys know what time it is. Take your seats. Class is in session. Good morning to all the alumni and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Appreciate you guys all being here. Let's give a shout out real fast to our chat. We got Alexander G in here. The Brumblebee, Brumbelow is in the house with us. Username F-Bomb said, like, smash. Appreciate you. Hit that like, guys. Hit the like. Look, little bubble. There you go. See, smash that like button and guys, and help us out here. Average Crypto Joe, Little Fish is in the house with us. Crypto Coin Mindset. Keith, welcome to see you here. Glad to see you here, man. He's talking about my audio. Donato Cabrera, what's up, man? How you doing? Baba Yaz is in the house with us. I miss seeing you around, man. His schedule does not allow him to be present like he used to be. Heart username Ahsoka Tano. I'm getting it better. I promise. And what's sad is I love the character, like big Star Wars fan here. Just cannot say the name for some reason. It's hard. I don't know. Who else we got in the house with us today? I see Robert Mulligan. Glad to have you here. Alexander G, my mod queen, in the house with us, and Ninja Glock. And then also, guys, who else just dropped in here? Oh, nope, still Brumblebee. Kyle Fields and Hebs02. Hit them likes, he said. Let's effing go. I like it. You know what I want to do? I want to go ahead and bring up my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, DDT. What's up, bro? The man, the myth, the legend. The king himself, Mr. OC, Mexican Superman. What's up, bro? How are you doing, dude? Welcome. Good morning to you. How you feeling about the markets today? They're just kind of meh. That's what they are today.
Well, everything seems to be on red in daily, or in your crypto bubbles at least. Everything's just kind of like a little bit feeling down. But that was something that we were expecting, right? I mean, yesterday we talked about we've possible turning back around and then hitting a couple of, I remember almost there with the mother's milk, but not quite there yet, right? Bitcoin having maybe a little bit of a retracement. So just overall, I feel neutral. I still think that we need to see that structure in the market. So basically flagging out or retracing, either of those. So we either range or retrace. And well, I rather see a retracement than a range or a flag or a pennant. And that is because we give bulls a little bit of that fresh air to breathe, right? Some cheaper prices to jump back in and then continue with strength. Something important that I'm seeing is that we're compressing the clouds on the oscillator. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, that's in the 4 hour. It's not a daily. Still, that might be giving us a 3% movement or something around those zones.
Yeah, I'm still feeling overall pretty bullish right now. Cautiously optimistic, as I've said, until we retake a key level. I'll go over that level again for you guys today in case you do not know. Shout out to Tony, Tex-Mex, Biomex. Looking forward to seeing him in Vegas here in a couple weeks. But yeah, I'm still cautiously optimistic. I think we do have potential for upside movement here. However, what I'm seeing on the daily indicator, daily oscillators, giving me a little pause for effect, right? So shout out to 2Dub. I see you dropping in here. 2Dub in the house, lurking and learning. Let's go ahead. I want to jump into the news. I want to break down the macro alpha for DDT, and then we'll get into the charts and start talking about those. Yeah, but I got to tell you guys, I've got a song stuck in my head today, and I cannot get it out. It has to do with my dog. It's Fleetwood Mac Gypsy, one of my favorite bands. What are you? I'm curious. What are the viewers? I want to hear what your favorite rock band is. If you guys didn't know, Fleetwood Mac, one of my all-time faves. So probably giving my age away there a little bit. I mean, I like Metallica, and I like some, Tool, old Ozzy, stuff like that. But yeah, Fleetwood Mac, right up there in the top of my list. So I'm curious to see what your guys' favorite rock bands are. While you guys put that in the chat, I'll go jump in here and let's get this news going. OC, we will be right back with you. All right, let's look at the news today, guys. Checking out Into the Cryptoverse for our morning metrics here. Looking at crypto market cap's total market cap right now is at $3.337 trillion. Trend is at on that is at 3.781 trillion. Undervaluation is 11.76% undervalued. We're currently sitting at 57.3% risk band, which still puts us in a ×2 DCA. Looking at Bitcoin dominance with stables, we're at 61.61. Without stables, we're at 66.29. Getting a harsh pullback there on Bitcoin dominance, but I do think it's going to find support about where we are now here soon and start to rally back up. Let's go jump over into X and talk about the fear and greed today. Fear and greed is sitting at 70. We are in greed right now. Although I will point out, this just came in about 15 minutes ago from BTC letter. U.S. executives are getting more concerned about the economy. The share of S&P 500 companies mentioning recession during Q1 2025 earnings calls spiked to 23%. That's the highest it's been since 2022, which is when we had our bear market, right? This percentage has surpassed levels recorded in all years between 2008 and 2020, except for 2010. Additionally, 62% of U.S. CEOs expect either a slowdown or a recession over the next 6 months. So we're still seeing a lot of bearish sentiment on recession, despite seeing some lessening of some metrics and data points, right? So, yeah, it's at 23% right now for Q1 2025. So, and manufacturing is still slowing down. Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index dropped 38.9 points in April to negative 26.4, which is the lowest since April 2023. We're down here in the threshold that we had not seen since all the way back in 2008, guys. So some bearish info there coming in on the metrics side there. Let's look at our liquidations for the past 24 hours. In the past 24 hours, 185,533 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations were at $597.25 million. The largest single liquidations happened on Bybit. It was Bitcoin for $11 million flat. Looking at crypto bubbles here on the daily, we are in the red. Hourly has a couple that are moving here decent, but overall, it's red also. Bitcoin down about 0.5% on the daily right now, sitting at 103,462, which is beneath that $103,500 level that I've been talking about as market top potentially for a while. Let's go look at Ethereum. It's down about 0.3%. It's at $2,500, just over. Tether moved back up and took the XRP spot. XRP down 2.9% at 252. Any big movers besides them? Looks like Dogecoin's down into 4.8. So is Cardano. 6.2% downside on Stellar Lumens. It's at 30 cents. A lot of 6% here in Shiba Inu and Hedera, HBAR. Toncoin is down 7.1%. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing major here until you get down to Pi Network, down 14%. It's garbage, guys. I keep telling you. I hate that token. Let's go look at the stock market today. Looking at the Dow Jones right now. So refresh this, make sure we got the most recent data. See you guys putting all your bands over there. Oh, Disturbed. I got to talk about Disturbed. True story about them. So yeah, Dow Jones down 0.33%, S&P 500 down 0.55 or up 0.55, I should say. The Nasdaq is up 1%, Russell 2K up about 1/3% there, and the VIX is below 20, which is a good sign to see. Let's look at the bonds here. 10-year Treasury yield moving back up again, guys. It's almost a 4.5%. This thing hits 5%. We've got issues for the markets. I will tell you that. Treasury yield moving up still. Oil is up above that $60 mark per barrel. That's a good sign to see because when it goes the other direction, it's usually recessionary indication, front runner. So gold is moving back up today, just slightly up 0.15%. It's at $3,233. Silver is up, copper is up, platinum is up, and palladium all up. Let's jump over here and talk about this inflation report. Annual inflation rate hit 2.3% in April. It was less than expected. They thought it was going to be higher. It was slightly lower than expected in April as Donald Trump's tariffs just began hitting the slowing U.S. economy, according to a Labor Department report. Consumer Price Index, which measures the cost of a broad range of goods and services, rose 0.2% for the month, putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.3%. Excluding volatile food and energy prices, core CPI also increased 0.2% for the month, while the year-over-year was at 2.8. Forecast was for 0.3 and 2.8 respectively, so it came in as expected. Let's jump over and look at this data because core inflation rate was at 0.1. I thought it would be 0.3 on the consensus forecast to be 0.2, came in at 0.2. Year-over-year rate for core inflation was at 2.8. They said, hey, it's going to be 2.8. It came in at 2.8. Inflation rate month over month, including food and energy, because that's what core inflation does not include. It came in at 0.2. It was at negative 0.1. They thought it would be 0.3. It actually came in at 0.2. So inflation rate month over month here was about 0.3% higher, okay? But still beat the expectation, came in under that. And then that inflation rate, including food and energy for year over year, was at 2.4. They thought it would be as high as 2.5 on the forecast. Came in at 2.3 and beat the previous month. So came in lower. So kind of mixed here, but the problem is, and I'm going to talk about this because I went into ChatGPT. So let's break this all down. April 2025 CPI overview, all the numbers we just talked about, but here's where the economic outlook comes in. Economists anticipate that inflation may rise in the coming months due to the delayed effects of recent tariffs, particularly those on Chinese goods. The Federal Reserve has maintained interest rates between 4.25 and 4.5 and is expected to keep a cautious approach, monitoring inflation trends closely. So despite having this better than expected inflation number, we're not really getting this huge pump up in the markets because at the end of the day, we still haven't seen. This is for April. This report was for April. It's May. April was when they put on the Liberation Day tariffs. So any tariff cost that may lead to inflation, we won't see until June when they put out the May report, and it still may not be completely in there by that time. So they really can't take this data and run with it because we know that there's some bumpy roads possibly ahead of us on this journey. So right now it's kind of a wait and see, and that's why we're seeing this like really mundane pump in the market off of this data. We do have on Thursday, we're going to get those PPI data. With this coming in for core inflation for consumer, we may actually see this come in a little bit better than expected. This is the producer price inflation. So be watching that on Thursday. We'll be here breaking it all down for you, of course, as we always do. And then Friday, we're going to get that building permits, housing starts, and Michigan consumer sentiment. So a little bit of hopium there for us coming in today's data, but not fully out of the woods yet. Matter of fact, when we take a look and see what the likelihood of rate cuts are looking at June, we're at a 91.8% chance of no rate cut in June. We're still at a 61.4% chance of no rate cut in July, and September is where we first start to see, but this number is starting to tick up. It's at 23% now. This was at 20% yesterday. So 23% chance of no change as far out as September as of right now. The big worry that everyone is talking about is we keep seeing layoffs happening. We hear about them all the time. And then we have this possible return of inflation looming on us. And so stagflation, we talk about this all the time, but this is a pretty good article from CNBC breaking down what stagflation actually means. So while the economy is still in a strong position, the risk that unemployment and inflation will rise have gone up, according to the Federal Reserve last week. Those factors, along with slower economic growth, may prompt stagflation, experts warn. Here's what consumers can do to prepare. So the U.S. economy, looking right now, the risk of higher unemployment and higher inflation appears to have risen, according to Jerome Powell on May 7th. Those two factors, along with slower economic growth, are the definition of stagflation. It's not here yet. The unemployment rate is low. The inflation has come down, though it's still higher than the Fed's 2% target, Powell noted last week. Signs that the economy is in a solid position prompted the central bank to leave the short-term federal funds rate unchanged. No rate cuts, right? So what's fueling this stagflation fear if everything's starting to look better for us, right? Swiftly shifting tariff policies are the main threat, prompting experts to sound stagflation warnings. Uncertainty related to tariffs is also a strong factor contributing to the stagflation risk. Uncertainty in of itself is a drag on economic growth and on the markets. So that's what I wanted to break down for you guys. I just wanted to give you this key points here of why we're not seeing a huge amount of pump up in the markets. And it really has to do with that right there, that there is still fear of stagflation. And then we've got inflation, rearing its ugly head. I caught OC eating. That's a great day for me. Let's go. But yeah, guys, just overall, we're not out of the woods yet. So a lot of worry there. The wall of worry is building up. Let's go back here and take a look here and see what everybody said on the question. Rush Brumbelow, love Rush, one of the greatest drummers of all time. The Spice Girls, OC said. Come on, OC. Come on. Brumbelow said he loves Fleetwood Mac. The Dillinger Escape Plan, Between the Buried and Me. Username, I'm going to have to check that out. I am not sure I love that. I know that one. Ahsoka said, I love them all. Candlebox, dude. Jim Cramer. Candlebox was an awesome band back in the day. Let's see. Fleetwood Mac, of course. Alexandra G. She loves the Gypsy song. That's right. See, she knows. She knows. Alexandra G knows. Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is awesome. Went to a laser light show, Pink Floyd concert with some of the original members of Pink Floyd. That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool concert. Zeppelin. I like a couple of Zeppelin songs. I think Zeppelin's very overrated in some fields, but they're not a bad band. I just think they're very overrated. My opinion. Just my opinion. Floyd, definitely. Or is that Def Leppard? Let's see here. Zeppelin, every song. Hebs is now unsubscribed because I said I think they're overrated. Breaking Benjamin, Duke Wellington, Tribe Called Quest. That's okay. I did say rock band, but we'll go with Tribe Called Quest. Who else? Disturbed, Motorhead, Sublime. So, dude, check this out. I discovered Disturbed. I discovered the band Disturbed like as a hot new artist thing. It was at the record store. Had the CD up on the wall. It was like #1 of hot new artist, and no one had heard of them. They were not even getting airplay at the time. This little record store was like really known for just digging into the dirt to find some, off the wall bands that were just coming out. And so that wall, they would put that wall up with all of their hot bands that the people that worked there had found, right? And so I was listening to Disturbed like a year before they even got radio play at all. And I went to Ozfest. And they were not even the main line band on the second stage, which is all the small no-name bands, right? And they brought him out on this dolly, like a furniture dolly, like a two-wheel dolly, and he's all strapped up with the vest on, right? The insane vest. And he's got his face all covered up with cages, and they undo him, unlock him off of it and walk away. And he breaks out with that ooh, wow, that laugh that he does, right? And the entire crowd like erupted. It looked like an explosion of energy in the middle of the crowd. And they took this 20-foot tall blow up Doc Martin boot, tore it down, and were ripping it apart and catching it on fire and throwing pieces of it on fire. No joke. Like, I'd never seen a band just immediately initiate violence like that band did back in the day. So yeah, Disturbed, man. Absolutely awesome. It's funny enough you put Motorhead after them because that was the concert that Motorhead was the headliner. And me and my brother Clyde, CJ Taylor, somewhere in here, I'm sure he is, and some other people, we went backstage. We got backstage because I knew the drummer from Motorhead and one of the roadies and stuff like that were at my bar. I was in the bar business back then, and they came and drank liquor at the bar, and we were drinking, and I found out they were Motorhead. I told them I was going to Ozfest. They said, get our attention. So they got us backstage. Long story short, I smoked a little something with Motorhead on their bus. So pretty cool that you said Motorhead. Yeah, pretty cool. Stories of Piper there. There you go. Story time with Piper. Mosh pit, yes. You guys got some great AC/DC. Awesome. I play a lot of AC/DC. Rage Against the Machine is a good one. Yeah, you guys got some good taste, man. Slipknot's a good one. Tool, seen Tool several times at Ozfest. Yeah, man, you guys got a lot of good bands in here. Is Incubus rock? I could go with Incubus. I can go with Incubus. I think they're rock. Awesome. Story time. There you go. All right, let's get into some charting, man. We got I don't know how many people we have in here watching right now. I know there's 103 total watching us on X right now and on YouTube, but it looks like we got like 55 people in here on YouTube. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, smash them like buttons. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get into some charts. Let's talk about these. Let's talk about what we're seeing on Bitcoin. I'm going to jump in here first. I'm passing with an OC, but yeah, had to share some rock stuff. I want to start to share a little bit of personal stories with you guys. Buck said, dude, you've got all this alpha, all this knowledge, and you put out all of your brainwave power all the time, but no one actually knows who the hell Piper is. So there you go, Buck. I'm working on it, bro. Told everybody a little story about me and rock bands today. Let's go check out the chart here and look at this. Let's look at this Bitcoin chart, what I was talking about. This is the daily chart, guys, that I'm looking at here. We got three factors that I'm watching very closely here. Is that we have the histogram starting to curve down up here, okay? The signal wave is starting to break to the downside. We had a downtrend and a daily bearish divergence on the Chart Prime Oscillator Pro Plus. Very powerful oscillator for me to always be watching. We got the downtrend. We got the power bar that turned green right there. We have a clipping of the True 7 and that bearish divergence while money flows coming down, and we topped out in the red on the RSI, guys. This is a danger zone for me when I look at all of these oscillators on the daily. None of these look like continuation without a pullback. I would be watching for this point of control coming in at about $96,000, which is going to overlap here with the quantum reactor. Now, I will point out that this quantum reactor held price action for a couple of weeks and is in the green. So I would think that if this comes in the point of control, that would give us a chance to cool all of this stuff off over here while giving us a support bounce back at resistance. You can see there was resistance there, a lot of support and resistance there. So this level has been in play for a while. It's coming off of this big, huge volume node here on the fixed range volume profile. So I would think that a $96,000 pullback on Bitcoin would be very healthy for it at this point, give a chance for these oscillators to cool off. But the big factor is, guys, is that this trend-based fib extension, golden pocket here, is still holding as very, very strong resistance for us. This is the one that I was talking about last week, talking about months ago, and that is the 103 level here. It's going to be $103,552, and you can see every single attempt. These are 3-day candles. Right now, we're on the 3-day, in the middle of a 3-day candle. And this one started on Tuesday. So this is a brand new 3-day candle right here. We've had 3-day rejection and a 3-day rejection all on this level right here, guys. And this was based off of the low of 2022, the high of 2021, and the low of the previous cycle, giving us a 3-wave trend-based golden pocket. So come back here. do this. It's going to be from this low to this high to this low. So as of this time in 2022, November 2022, we knew that this was an area to watch for rejection. We got rejected on it twice now. And now on our return trip back to this destination, we are seeing a lot of rejection there. So that on top of the dailies, I would have to see us get a bounce down here at this $96,000 range, give us a cool off on all of these daily oscillators, and then perhaps give us the opportunity to get back up into this golden pocket and prove it as support, maybe making a new higher high at that time. If we can do that and take off, I am watching for about $167,000. But until we retake this resistance and prove it as support, and until we flip these dailies around, I've got to say that there's a little bit of cause of concern, and we are not running that into the full run bull run yet. We got to be cautiously optimistic. And OC, let's go ahead and kick it over to you. See what you're seeing on your charts. What's up there, Alex? Oh, crypto. Look, bro. I got the gang coffee mug. It makes coffee taste like winning. Shout out to Alex O in the house, man. OC, what do you got on your chart? Let's take a look at it and see what you're seeing there, man.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at a little bit of an outer view here. Let's zoom out for a little bit, right? And then we're going to be zooming back in. But so far, look at that. No indicators at this point turn on. I just want to do a quick overview on where we are and what's happening, right? So basically, we have a return line that we build up all the way back in here, and then another one that we build all the way back in here, basically creating a megaphone. We had kind of like a fake out, which, by the way, also went in just like a double topping here, and also double bottoming here, or as a fake out of that megaphone, creating another trend line. The secondary trend line coexists very nicely on a confluence zone alongside with the median of the megaphone in here, right? So now let's zoom in, and just to measure the full movement here, looking for a third of a movement pullback or half of the movement pullback, all right? So far, remember that we also had another micro trend line in here. Let's bring Chunky Candles into the show. Welcome. And what we got in here, basically, we lost that trend line. We lost the zero line. It's not about the breakout. Remember where we were looking at yesterday. And now where you start looking, all right, yeah, but 1/3, it's kind of like, all right, guessing a little bit, but not really. You just need to divide your full movement into 3 parts, right? Or into 4 parts, and then respect those lines. But if you really want to take a look at a couple of things, look for your predictive ranges or support and resistances. This is a daily support in here. Look at that beautiful bounce right at that zone. Or if you are a little bit more conservative, look at this one. You have a predictive range right here acting as a support. So it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. We build up a high order blocking here. Look at that. We're having a rejection. Yesterday we drew this. Man, it is perfect or almost perfect here. And then I am expecting a pullback down all the way back to somewhere around 1,950-ish, and that's because of this week, or all the way back down here where we have this blue line, where is the center of the box, where is also the trend line and the median. So basically somewhere around this area for the next support zone. In fact, what I'm going to be doing is adding an alert in here slightly above my area of support. So when it crosses, I still have enough time to set up a trade and then reevaluate whether if I'm breaking through, because if I'm breaking through to the upside, I would want to jump back into that area, or at least if I'm in reversal zones with a little triangle here, just like in here, well, then that's when I want to jump in for that trade. So other than that, yeah, look at a little bit, not bearish because we are very high above the dynamic reactor still. I mean, we are in green. This is the dynamic reactor coming in strong, and I just noticed that the dynamic reactor, it is basically, it's going to be right there with the whole confluence zone as we come back around. But yeah, above the dynamic reactor, we still have a very good and very nice high prime score and a median consolidation score. So all in all, I'm feeling still bullish. I don't think that we're gonna be just crashing all the way back to 92 like from today or tomorrow. but still a pullback, a good pullback. It's needed to the dynamic reactor to consolidate some interest from cheaper Bitcoin, and then off we go. Remember, yesterday was a DCA day, so maybe you have a chance today with the pullback to re-enter if you did not yesterday. Other than that, oh yeah. Other than that,
Yeah,
turning it back to you,
something
Parker.
something that I'm watching on Bitcoin also. We talked yesterday about the pullbacks and the CME gaps, and I want to go back and take a look at those. I'll bring you up here with me, OC. OC in the house. We had this yesterday, guys. This is a 4-hour chart, and I talked about the CME gap that we had made on May 8th. We closed it out yesterday. So yesterday afternoon, we went down, wicked down, and closed that one out. So this one now gone. That's one out of the way. We get out of here, CME gap. Oddly enough, the level that we rejected on this, or bounced on, I mean, is this platinum pocket, guys. We rejected off the top of this platinum pocket, and I'll show you where this is pulled from so you can put it on your chart too. But we came down, and we had a wick below it, but pretty much candle closing right there on that 786 at 101,881. I've been talking about that level for a hot minute. That's where we got that bounce at. So be aware, we do have good support here, but I do think that when we look at those levels, we were talking about 96,000. That's going to be the bottom here, 96,645 of this previous. If I put this on the daily, you'll see where it's at. It's right there. That is that CME gap from 7 May. So that's going to be coming in right there at 96,000. And we still have the one from 22 April completely unfilled down at 91. So be aware of those levels. When I talk about the CME gaps, we got a couple of them still sitting below us, but overall looking at good support that proved itself yesterday pretty strongly on that 786. Where is that pulled from? So you guys can drop this on your chart. This is being pulled from our high that we had here on January 20th, Inauguration Day, down to our bottom. And if you pull that fib from this point down to this point, it will give you all of these levels. And you can see how the golden pocket and the platinum pocket have been rocking hard here. The one time that we did not get a break, or that we got a rejection on the 6.6, this is a GAN level on the golden pocket, and broke beneath that 618. We got all of our support on that quantum reactor from Chart Prime's indicators. Check out Chart Prime indicators. Got a 45% off code down below, and they absolutely crush it. Best algorithmic indicators in the market, hands down. So, OC, how we looking on altcoins? How we looking on gold? I know we got a little bit of time here before we go head over to Crypto Princess. We're going to be checking her out today. She's got Coons with his Elliott Wave Mastery on there today. So we're definitely going over to watch that. But what are we looking like on the altcoin side, OC? Give us a little sprinkle of hopium on our alts, man. What you got?
Absolutely. So, Sprinkle help you not that much just now, but we can start looking for some setups, especially on those big bubbles in here that we have. So, for example, we have FARTCOIN, Pi Network. I won't be touching that, not even at a distance with a stick. So let's go and check it out. For example, FARTCOIN. What other one? Ton for long, maybe a hex for a short. So we can start looking and using this as a counter indicator. So let's get started with FARTCOIN, right? Other than that, I'm going to do a top-down analysis, but let's get started with FARTCOIN. Why not? At this point, let's bring it up. And what we're seeing here is that this one actually played out very nicely. Let's just get rid of everything here. But now, and at here, we are having a range. This range is actually not something that I really like at this point, because we could be forming a Bart Simpson. Something that could be looking like is that we have a little bit of a spring in here, but we are losing the zero line. I need to see a bounce at a higher high, or I wouldn't mind a even lower high in here, like, right, but still holding this zone. If that is the case, well, then I'm going to be looking for a possible entry as we flip back above and then exiting at the top of that range. But as we're looking at it, it seems like we might still have a little bit more downwards movement, especially going to the dynamic reactor. So that's what we're going to be aiming at, the dynamic reactor. So let me just set up my alert right there at 1.80. Oh, that was my dog. Sorry for that. 1.18, and that's going to be where I'm going to be looking to a possible reentry. Other things are like, all right, if I lose my dynamic reactor, where I can maybe look for possible reentries, well, then we need to start looking at this zone. That will happen maybe at the next cycle of this movement. All right. But by then, I think a breakout retest, head switch, and then off we go for a reversal on FARTCOIN. Let's do the top down analysis in here really quickly. And let's get started with Ethereum. By the way, Ethereum very impressive. We're expecting a little bit of a pullback down on Ethereum. It actually almost did it. Look at that. I mean, seems like I still need to fix my alerts. Let me push it over a little bit higher here. And something that I'm looking at here, it is the formation. Let me just clear this up. The formation of a possible flag in here, right? This could remember when we talk about morphology of the patterns. This could still transform in something else, and how it could. Well, then looking like this. If we start making a lower highs and then a higher lows, like for example, like that, it can start becoming or transforming into a pennant. But so far, to me, it looks like we are making a bull flag in here. All right, so what am I going to be looking for? Flip of the ribbon. We almost got it. Don't let it deceive you just yet, because we are on reversal zones. I need to see pumping up, maybe going downwards. That will maybe generate a bullish divergence. And then when we have it, we can go and hit previous weekly highs. But at this point, it's not a time too long. If we break in here, I'll be looking for the retest, and then off we go. But always trying to hold the support line right there. Litecoin
on
doing it
Ethereum
almost
real
exactly.
fast. On Ethereum real fast, I'd be very, very careful with Ethereum if it breaks this cluster up here of volume that we're in, because pulling a fixed range volume profile in here, guys, you got little nipples here of volume. That's about it. This whole area, in my opinion, is a massive volume gap. When you look at the big volume down here and the big volume clusters up here that's being built, take those away. And if we lose this level, this value area high at 2,300 here, guys, this is a massive volume gap all the way down to the point of control again. So be very, very aware of how fast this pumped up and how little bit of volume there actually is in this whole area. So back over to you, OC. I just wanted to point that out on Ethereum.
Oh, absolutely. We have a huge gap right down there. Let's take a look at LTC, basically looking like the same. The only difference is that we do have a very nice trend line that we can find some support of, right? So basically, this is the trend line that we're looking for. We have a breakout. We're going for maybe the range or the retest, right? And I want to see that flip of the ribbon either here or right there. As long as we don't lose the trend line here at 97.58, I think we're fine. And we could even go all the way back down here for a daily breakout retest and then re-enter. But so far, I'm going to be first looking at this trend line, and let's first block it and then add an alert to it. And finally, I'm going to be adding another alert. Let me move this out of the way, all the way here above about my support zone. So, and I don't know why it didn't move. Yeah, not sure what's going on. Maybe I need to refresh this. But whatever. The point is that I need to set up, there we go, another alert. Let's just add it, and then I'll just get rid of this one. Perfect. And this is going to be, again, a little bit above of my area of entry. Why? Because I want to be alerted before we are right there. So I'm expecting dynamic rate to come in here and then hit it off, right? Remember, plan A, plan B, all right? And finally, let me go over and skip all over to Link, because Link did have the pullback, all right? We lost a trend line in here. Let me draw it for you. This trend line, and you know what? I think I need to start zooming in so we can have a much better description. There we go. We had a very prominent wedge in here, which is already broken. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, losing the zero line, bullish hidden bullish divergence. So I think this could be a very nice setup for then taking some profits all the way down in here. So in fact, I'm going to be trying to jump in here for a short as we start building out the inverted goose head right down here. So maybe one or two more candles, and then off we go to 1546. So that's what I got, Piper. Let me throw it back to you.
Yeah, checking out Coin here, man. On the stock side, looking at Coin, they just got put into the S&P 500. If you guys aren't tracking that, so a lot of bullish news going on with Coin, and it is absolutely ripping off today, up 17% today, breaking above its 200-day and its 100-day. Pushing above the 300-day. So all this cluster here of moving averages, simple moving averages. This orange line is the 200-day. This red line is the 300-day. This yellow line is the 100-day. And getting all of these back in order, it looks like. So I will point out, though, they are topping out here on the 4-hour, getting a lot of overbought indication going on here on the oscillator, but money flow is looking strong. Volume is now starting to come up. Yeah, Coinbase ripping today, man. Let's go look at this on the daily and just see how it's looking on the daily. And I want to check it against these other oscillators. Where you at there, Coinbase? 17% upside move. Let's go find you. That's 078. Coin. That's Dow Jones. I would just type it in. Yeah, I want to check out this on the daily with all the indicators. Coin, stocks, NASDAQ, and go. Let's see here. Huge gap here on the daily, man. Big gap up. Be aware of that. You had this double resistance level down here, which actually goes all the way across all of this. That is a gap up. Go, sir, go back. What are you doing? Hit Control Z one too many times. You flick too hard, damn it. Anybody know what movie that's from? Let me know in the chat if you know. If you know, you know. Looking at Coin here, though, we are seeing that we are pushing up into a transition ribbon here on the daily. Money flow is still coming up. Don't know why you did that there. Thank you much. Pushing up, got a little transition on the oscillator ribbon here. Money flow pushing back up into the positive. But again, RSI getting very hot, going into those transition colors that typically have led to pullbacks before. You can see up here, if we bring this in, let's bring this in. You'll see this area right here. That led to a pretty harsh pullback here. Let's go see how much that was. That was about an 18% pullback the last time we've been this high. So we are getting into that hot zone there, but I am still seeing some bullishness on the rest of the oscillators. Coin might be something to watch there, OC. What else you got, OC? Let's kick it back over to you and let's just keep it rolling here. We got about another 10 minutes before we got to head over to the princess's house over there in England with Coons and his mastery of Elliott Waves. What do you got for us, man?
So let's take a look at gold in here. So gold looking good. Good in the sense that it's making or it's reacting the way that we were expecting. Something that is important right now is that we broke below the zero line in here. That's not a new news, right? But we were expecting this flip of the ribbon right down here and then a short wave, right? So I was also expecting a little bit of a better reaction of gold. All right, so it is moving upwards, but now we're impacting right on the dynamic reactor. Not sure if it's going to make it. Look at our prime scoring here. It's very low, right? I mean, if we zoom out, we have the next support right in here, somewhere around 3,139, and the next support somewhere around 2,953. So a very big drop if we lose this area of support. So guys, if you want to jump into a trade, I would recommend, not financial advice, but recommend just jumping after break through that dynamic reactor and be somewhere around half of an entry. Do not add more, and then keep it rolling because it also could be creating a lower high. Remember that we are creating right now a triangle, right? And until we break back above the zero line, I don't think that we're going to be bullish once again. So where do we look for maybe the entry for a long? We look for that entry of the long as we get all the way here or as we break our retest, off we go. But if you're looking to short gold, well then not sure where you're going to be shorting it, but you can basically do it as we start rolling over. So maybe in the next possible candle, just be careful because we have not yet confirmed a breakout below the trend line. I rather see this breakout retest, and then maybe try to take on this one, depending on our oscillator zone, if we are above or below that oscillator. Take a look at copper very quickly. Not looking bad, but also not looking that good, which seems like we do have right here a wedge. Usually, this kind of wedges break to the downside. What is it important? Copper, because copper usually leads the way on construction, plumbing, piping, microchips, computer, and everything that it has to do with electronics. All right. So basically, looking at this, yes, we are above dynamic reactor. We are above the zero line. But if we break through this one, I think we don't have enough volume here to sustain this movement. I need to see the breakout retest of the go and take previous highs to then commit to maybe a long, so maybe something around here. It's not that I'm at this point trading copper. I did yesterday mention that I would be trading copper if I'm looking to hedge the market. But what I rather see is copper not losing the dynamic reactor for the rest of the market to still moving to the upside. Other than that, that's what I got. Maybe I can take a look at something else if you want me to. Like, for example, I'm looking at EOS in Solana.
Yeah, go ahead and look at Solana, and then we'll talk about a couple of breaking news things that just came out about the S&P 500 and Microsoft. So, yeah, go ahead and take a look at Solana.
Absolutely. So Solana, same like Link, like ADA, like Ethereum, right? We're ranging up here, but the difference in here is that this is not so much of a range, other than seems to me like a rounded top. All right, we are losing the zero line. We have a much prominent flip of the revenue here, but we are still on the red cloud, which means to me that if we do not take the previous highs, and that will be, and let me zoom in so we have a much better perspective here. If we don't take the previous highs right here, I think we are going to be going lower, just like a Bart Simpson. And we're going to be looking for the first area of resistance right here, somewhere around 163. Let's do that. Let's add that in. But most likely, at whatever dynamic reactor it's going to be at. So a little bit lower here. So we need to be careful with Solana. Could be a possible re-entry area right here, somewhere around 156. So other than that, that's what I got. And let me pass it over to you, Piper.
Awesome. Couple things I wanted to look at here, OC. We just got breaking news from BTC Letter about 20 minutes ago. Breaking: the S&P 500 is officially positive for the year. So year to date, from the beginning of the year, it is up for the first time now, 0.33% positive year to date. So on the S&P, now up 1,000 points since April's low. So a little bit of hopium there. The reason that I'm still cautiously optimistic, why is that? Well, we're seeing stuff like this that just came out 15 minutes ago. Microsoft is cutting 3% of its workforce. I'm not sure. Let's go grab ChatGPT and let's ask her how much is 3% of their workforce, because I'm curious. Let's go see. What is how much is 3% of the Microsoft workforce? Let's see what she says. Give me response 1, response 2. Which one? I don't know. It says 3%. We would need to estimate their total employees, 221,000 employees. That would be approximately 6,630 people that being cut from Microsoft. So there you go. Still reasons for pause, right? So if we start to see, now I will say this, if we start to see labor market be impacted, but we don't see an uptick in inflation, that gives Jerome Powell the ammunition that he needs to cut rates. So there is some good side out of that, but that means it's because of weakening labor force, right? So if we don't see that weakening labor force and inflation does go higher, then of course Jerome Powell will not cut rates. That's just how it works. So happens every year. R.S. Miller saying that's normal for Microsoft to cut their workforce. Yeah, a lot of times when you see jobs being cut, it's because they're restructuring and may hire somewhere else. But initial report right now is 3%. So when I worked for Hewlett Packard, Retro Tech says we cut 6% of our workforce, and that was over 26,000 employees, but we were spread it over 3 years. Retro Mike Tech, guru over there, he worked at Hewlett Packard, so he's seen this before too. A lot of tech sector restructuring where they, hey, you're going to do more with less, and then until we figure out how this new system looks. But yeah, be aware. There's some more layoffs coming. 155,000 people laid off in April. If you guys didn't know, so. Yeah, crazy numbers. Still not enough, though, to get rate cuts, evidently. So, all right, OC, we are about 5 minutes out from heading over to Crypto Princess with Coon's special guest today. What do you got for the people? Anything that you're wanting to show them before we head out, or you ready? You done? What do you got?
I think that's it, all that I got for today. We need to be a little bit careful. At this point, we're ranging. Remember, ranges at the top, usually there are non-breakouts because they could be a flat positive continuation or become a Parkinson. So look at your oscillator, look at your support entry. If you're going to be entering in a range, enter at the low zone. But we have an entry, and then react as we break out, retest as we go. All right, so yeah, just basically, if you're going to be entering with a range, just set up your ranging zones and try to enter when we hit lows with a little bit of a low or small position with your stop loss, all right? So when you break a retest, you add to your long in here. And if we break back below, you get stopped out, and then you re-enter on the breakout retest, right, from the low. But other than that, be careful because we're just...
Throw me a regression trend on that area there, that range that we have up top there. That's also a really good way. Guys, check this out. This is a really good way to identify potential breakouts, and it's right there built into your trading view. So there you go. Just grab that. You show them where that's at again?
Absolutely. It's in the second bottom top left, right here, and you click the little arrow to show the drop-down menu. And then almost at the center of your screen, there's going to be a regression trend tool. And here it is.
And then if you click on it, he clicked it to extend it to the right. So that's all he did there. It's a great little tool for identifying a range. And when you get the breakout, you can run with it exactly just like that. Boom, shakalaka. There we go. We get the sound effect. Boom, shakalaka. There you go.
Nice.
That's why you guys need to learn to learn trade with OC every night here on the channel. Guys, we're going to be back here tomorrow morning. We got some more economic data to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow's PPI, I believe. Is that tomorrow or is that Thursday? Wait. Yeah, it is. Yes. Thursday is PPI. Tomorrow, we just have a bunch of Fed speakers going on, and the 30-year fixed mortgage rate to come out tomorrow. So we'll find out how good of a deal I got on my mortgage rate tomorrow when we get that one. Previously, it's at 6.84 on the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So I have to find out tomorrow of what that one is. But guys, make sure you tune in. Catch OC on Trade with OC every evening right here on the YouTube, on the Piper Academy YouTube channel. And then tonight, Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. I saw him here in the chat. Shout out to you. And then tomorrow morning, BC Port Corp will be back here doing Good Morning Crypto. I will be joining OC tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. right here, drinking my winning coffee with the Otter Gang. 10 a.m., breaking it all down for you guys, giving you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and the macro, everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management. When you get over to Crypto Princess's show, make sure you guys drop those graduation caps. Let them know the alumni has entered the building. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace. I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. I know
know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the army piper acolytes. Train flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you will part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline.
Boom shakalaka!
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean? You can't handle the truth!
That was awesome, dude.